all the talk of having a better society and a model for others to copy, revamping Lagos State and other places seem to have taken, well, should I say, have begun here in Lagos. Now we're looking at the traffic menace. Some say it is intractable, as the government trying to put some sanity in all of this. The new Lagos laws is up for discussion this morning on Sunrise Daily. With us to look at that is the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice here in Lagos, Mr. Ade Ipaye. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, if I have my child with me on a bike, what we call Okada, will I be flouting the law? Let's start with that.
That will be an offense if your child is below 12 years of age.
What informs this law now, this set of laws?
Now, everyone in Lagos, I think, would agree that we got to a point where we had to review our road culture. It was causing so much problems in terms of security, in terms of safety, and in terms of the way we live our lives, our productivity at work. Because a lot of people, as you know, have to leave their homes as early as 4 a.m., 5 a.m. just to get to work. And it's not because they work so far away, it's because the traffic is getting worse and worse. And then a lot of people don't get back home until almost midnight, you know. So a lot of family lives are destroyed in the process, and a lot of accidents, a lot of aggravation, which also affects the way we work, our productivity at work. We see a lot of accidents involving motorcycles, dead bodies on the roads, brains on the scattered on the roads. We had to do something in changing the overall driving culture in Lagos State. So all of these informed the new road traffic law.
The way it is now, I think we have to see how we can break it down. Now we understand it's just to bring sanity on our roads and restore family values and lives here, especially in Lagos. We'll try and look at them bit by bit and see what the law says. We have a copy of them here, and they also talked about carrying of children at the front of cars, as well as other means with which you can carry your children. But the one that people don't understand is eating as you drive.
Now, I've heard so much about that in the past 2 days. Now, what the law says is that while driving, you shouldn't smoke. So that's no, okay? Then it talks about counting money, because you see typically bus drivers counting with both hands and still trying to manage the vehicle. And this results in a lot of accidents. And then it says doing other things, other activities while driving. That is presumably activities that engage both hands. So eating might just be an example, not really something that the law directly says. And then eating, it depends on what you are eating, you know. And drinking, it depends on what you are drinking. Alcoholic drinks, totally banned. But other drinks in convenient packages that you can take without distracting the way you drive. I don't think that is what the law is after. The law is after activities that engage your hands while you purport to be driving. Using phones, that is clearly stipulated in the law, is banned, whether receiving calls or making calls, text messages. But if you have hands-free, so you are still able to focus and to have your hands on the steering wheel, no problem.
What about this talk of sounding your horns, blaring of sirens?
Yes.
Because on a daily basis, you get on the street, what you hear, sounding of horns. And if your horn is not working in Lagos, you can't drive, because it looks like that's the only language people understand when you drive here in Lagos.
Now, I said something earlier about aggravation, which contributes to the mood, the way we do our work when we eventually get to the office. You are trying to get to work, and suddenly you hear behind you a very loud noise, maybe sirens, maybe horns, and people coming around kicking you out of the way, and you are so angry, and you have a lot of anger bottled up that might remain in you for the whole day. And we think that these things are not conducive to the kind of lifestyle that we want to promote in Lagos. So we say that using of sirens and unduly large horns. Let me explain the one about the horns. A lot of motorcycles typically will put trailer horns or horns that are typically used by trucks, so that when they press it, you get the feeling that it's a truck that's behind you, but you find that it's not. So we want to clearly prohibit that, and that is what the law has achieved. And then you find, again, typically motorcycles fitted with sound equipment, making very loud noise, blaring music as it whizzes past. All of these things contribute to environmental pollution, noise pollution in our society. It contributes to our moods, the way we live, and all of these things we should begin to stamp out, and that is what this law has gone to
because
achieve.
Awareness counts here. Well, thanks my producers, they had to put some of these areas of coverage so that people can understand, since in law, you're a lawyer, they say ignorance of that law is no excuse, so people have to be aware, so that is the law already in force?
It is.
Yesterday?
The moment it was signed, it came into effect. That was last Thursday.
Now let's look at what you call on the listed routes as bus lanes for priority services during peak hours. That's according to the law, it says peak hours is 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. and we have loads and loads of them there, bus routes and lanes. What does that mean?
Now that is trying to bring in a culture, and that will take effect only when the Ministry of Transportation and LASMA makes all the necessary arrangements. So what the law has done for now is to confer that power on the ministry to designate certain lanes as bus lanes. This is in addition to the BRT, which we already have. So the announcement will be made, the proper markings will be made, such that between the hours that you have mentioned, we give priority to one lane on those typically very busy roads. Okay, we give priority to one lane. Again, this is to promote mass transit, to discourage the attitude of everyone believing that he has to take his or her own car to work. In a car, you typically would have just the driver, or the driver and one other person. And this causes huge environmental pollution when everyone tries to get on the road. Of course, it causes congestion, causes all sorts of problems. So the more of us that are able to switch to mass transit, to go on buses, that is why Lagos State government, aside from LAG bus and the BRT buses, is encouraging franchising operators that use modern buses, some air-conditioned buses, so that all of us can feel quite at ease going on the mass transit structures rather than individual cars.